All right, when it comes to young people, they are certainly restless and want nothing to do with this stock market in numbers we have never seen for any generation. Back to the Druids. They're not really into stocks. It was a very big Druid stock market. You probably didn't know that, but young Druids then were skeptical because, you know, the whole empire thing could be going. But what's interesting here, the number of millennials owning stock in 2008, about a third of them did. It is now down to barely a quarter. Those who trust President Obama, I don't know if there's a connection here, but 39% were of that ilk just a year ago, 32% just today. Now, we're not here to cast political aspersions one way or the other, but to Adam Sampson, who's FoxBusiness.com senior editor, you know, Adam, what's interesting is even with the run-up, and you would argue that, too, I got to get in because something must be going on. The market seems to have doubled since '09. They're still out.
It's incredible.
Why?
I think it's the financial crisis, and I think that's what most experts say, too. They remember the headlines of the markets collapsing over and over.
And they remember their parents' experiences, too. Right?
And the dot-com bubble. It's exactly it. Yeah.
But a lot of them, when I hear the rage of, let's say, these new valuations for some of these hot new Internet companies, the modern-day bubble, as we call it, ironically, it's not the young people who are into this.
No, I actually had a report today from UBS that said young people today are about as conservative as the World War II generation, those people who lived through the Great Depression. So I don't think they're getting into this new game at all.
But I wonder, Tracy, are they Republicans? Because the same people poll are equally cynical of both parties.
Yes, I think it's like, as you say, pox on both houses all the time. I don't think they want anything to do with anybody. I think, unfortunately, the way everyone is portrayed these days, Wall Street's evil, DC's evil, everything is evil. I'm going to keep my money under my futon, I guess is what they sleep on, and leave it there.
Now we're showing our age. Okay. All
right, I have to be the millennial defender then, because I know that my generation comes under a lot of ridicule for good reasons sometimes. But with this, I think that it's just a rational response, as you were saying, Tracy, to what we've been told for the last several years. We've been told that Wall Street is evil, so you can't invest in stocks because obviously
it's rigged.
It's rigged.
The rigged part is a big theme, right? That they just don't trust it.
And it's an interesting conversation that we've had, especially recently, but I think another interesting point is the way that millennials are looking at the U.S. debt. For the first time, the entire country has been faced with the idea that the United States debt is no longer the sure bet that it used to be with all of the crises we've been dealing with in Washington. When we're talking about the debt limit for the first time in years, people start to get a little bit antsy about buying those bonds anymore, and I think that millennials are responding to that.
Layfield, I mean, now, I don't know if this is a temporary phenomenon, but to Adam's reporting and others, I mean, it's clear that it has some lasting power because normally in the past when the markets run up, you know, the average Joanne starts running and says, hey, you know, I want part of this too. And they're not doing that. Does that worry you?
No, they're not.
When it comes to the future of the marketing, I'll even add the future capitalism.
Yeah, I agree with that. Look, I think they're upset with the entire system. Look, they had a lot of faith in hope and change, and candidate Obama was quite a bit different from President Obama. And when you realize once he got in there that he was just a politician like the rest of them, and you have a lot of sentiment against Wall Street. So politicians have a terrible approval rating. They spent years bashing Wall Street as the reason that the financial markets collapsed. Then you have Michael Lewis come out and write a book, high-frequency trading being allegedly rigged, and I think that they see that.
It reinforces that notion, right? I mean, so, Adam, they're very cynical, right? They're very cynical, which could explain, by the way, Layfield. You notice where he is? Adam, he's in Bermuda. Safely ensconced from this nonsense.
It's raining here.
So what do you make of that? What's sort of the upshot?
Yeah, I mean, not only they're cynical, I mean, they're just scared. They're holding about half of their money in cash, and that's unheard of. Other generations hold about a quarter of their money in cash.
Do they hold it because they have so little of it, or do they hold it because they just don't see another appealing alternative?
I think that's part of it, but I think broadly speaking, they just don't see the appeal of stocks, which is a real shame because they're not going to be able to build wealth. They won't be able to feel compounding. If you reinvest your investments, you can make so much money, and that money can be used later on to buy real estate.
Absolutely.
Can be
Another thing they're sour on. They don't see the whole need of owning a home and all.
But
so we can't unload our homes.
Yeah. I know, so people better start saving some money.
Hang on to your futon.
But they're not becoming finance majors in college either. The whole thing is kind of falling apart at the seams.
Well, I warned you about this in college. You didn't listen to me. All right. Couldn't you see Tracy doing that? I mean, if we did go to college, yeah.